What's up, family? Come on in. Come on in. What's up with you, Scott? Man, I'll give you guys a little bit to get up in here. You can tell by my voice, man, I'm going through it. Sound like I'm hitting puberty all over again, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Scorpio lady, what's up with you? Man, family, everything is not always what it appears to be. We're going to go ahead and get started. Man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, may God bless each and every one of you that catch this live. For those of you that catch it on the replay, man, may God bless you as well. What's up, Raymond? Man, things aren't always the way they appear. You know what I mean? Things are not always the way they appear. You know, man, there's a thing that we have this blind spot within us, man. I'm struggling, you could tell by my voice, but we're gonna get through it. We have a blind spot, each and every one of us. We're gonna go in today, it's gonna get kind of heavy, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? Um, there's a thing called scotoma, Scotoma, I believe. Scotoma, something like that. It just means that your mind sees what it wants to see. Your mind sees what it wants to see, what it chooses to see. And it's a trip because, man, what's up, man? Man, I say this all the time, man. Our ego is not our friend. Our ego is not our friend. You know what I mean? But we're so convinced that our ego is who we are. We're so convinced that our ego is our BFF. You know what I mean? It's our homie, it's our road dog. You know, your ego has never been your friend. Your ego has never been your friend, and it's never gonna be your friend. It is your greatest enemy. I'm gonna say that again. I know this is gonna bother some people, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? We have to grow up and understand who we really are. You're never gonna reach your full potential. You're never gonna do all that you came here to do. You know what I mean? Catering to your ego. Your ego is your greatest enemy. Your ego will do whatever it means capable or whatever means it has to keep you trapped, to keep you feeling less than, keep you thinking less than of who you really are. But the great majority of us, we won't come into this understanding in this lifetime. We'll never come into that understanding in this lifetime of how deceptive the ego really is and how the ego has deceived us into thinking that we ain't crap. How the ego has deceived us into thinking that we're less than what we really are. Our ego will have us convinced that, man, we're greater than what we really are. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, our ego will have us convinced that we're further along on our journey. We're more spiritual than what we really are. Our ego will have us convinced that we're woke, that we're enlightened. You know what I mean? And man, it ain't the truth. You know what I mean? It ain't the truth. And that slaps us hard, you know, because we think we are that, because we don't study it a little bit, because we've been meditating a little bit, because we quote unquote been spiritual for a number of years, you know what I mean? And who's this bald-headed black dude to tell me that I'm not woke like that and that my ego isn't my friend and man, it is what it is, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know, it's a trip because and I've talked about this in a lot of the videos lately, as far as, man, when you look at the stories of Jesus in the New Testament, when you look at all the people that he healed, when you look at all the people that he rose from the dead, when you look at all the people that had leprosy, the people that had blood issues, the people that were blind, the people that were crippled, and all these other things, these people didn't know that their life was going to change. These people didn't know that, man, today is going to be the day that I receive my sight. I've been blind my whole life, but today's the day. You know, I've had leprosy, forever. Seem like today's the day. You know what I mean? Man, my daughter's dead today. My brother's dead. Lazarus is dead. All these people are dead, but today's the day that they're going to be brought back to life. You know what I mean? And we have to understand that, man, things aren't always the way they appear. Things are not always the way they appear. You know what I mean? And I don't care what you're going through in life. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how traumatic it is. I don't care how painful it is. Man, you have to understand that, man, in a matter of moments, your perspective can change. In a matter of moments, your whole life can change. What am I saying? At any given moment, you could change your perspective. At any given moment, you can have a different perspective that gives you a total different outlook, that gives you a total different perspective, and gives you gratitude and peace and joy about the same hellhole that you was in. The same pain and suffering that you was calling baggage and trauma and all that other stuff. Man, you could get a totally different perspective, a total different view of that same situation. And it completely changes your outlook. It completely changes how you see everything. It completely changes how you feel about that situation. A few years ago, there was a meme that popped up on social media. And there's two guys standing, one in front of the number and one on the left side, one on the right side. And they were arguing back and forth whether it's a 6 or a 9. These two guys are arguing, yelling, no, it's a 9, no, it's a 6, no, it's a 9, no. And they're going back and forth. And I laughed when I saw that, because that's humanity. That's the great majority of us. We're so stuck on our perspective. We're so stuck on how we see life, how we see our situation, how we see our past, how we see our future, how we see ourselves. And we can't get outside of that perspective. We refuse to let go of that perspective. And then somebody comes along and they challenge that perspective. And the truth is, most of us, we're willing to die on our perspective. We're willing to die and go to war over our opinions. How many friendships, how many businesses has been lost because people got stuck in their own opinion of what they believe happened? We get so arrogant and just stubborn in our own belief system. It can't be any other way. And so there's one guy saying it's a 6 and he's ready to go to war, and he's calling the other guy an idiot and a dumbass and just whoop-de-whoop. He's going in. And the other guy is pissed off. And he's going back just as hard. I can't believe these stupid people, whoop-de-whoop, and they're just going back and forth. That's what we do with politics. That's what we do with gun laws. That's what we do with abortion rights. You know what I mean? That's what we do with religion. That's what we do with all these stupid, superficial, meaningless, dumbass fucking conversations. You know what I mean? That's what we do with being woke. That's what we do about Jesus. That's what we do about Kundalini, about our chakras, about our being enlightened, our third eye open, and all this stuff. We get stuck in the narrative. We get stuck in our perspective. And we refuse to grow the hell up and just see it from somebody else's view. We don't want to view anything outside of our comfort zone. We don't want to view anything outside of our perspective. We don't want anything challenging our beliefs, challenging our opinions. Why? Because then it's going to invalidate me. Because my whole being lies on this being a 6. And your argument, your whole being lies on it being a 9. And we're going back and forth. Because we're too ignorant to just let it go. We're too ignorant to say, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let's just trade places and see if we'll see the exact same thing. Let me come over there where you're at. Why don't you come over here where I'm at? Try to see it from my perspective. Try to see it from my point of view. And I'll come try to see it from your point of view. And let's see if we get the same perspective or if our perspectives change. Because the trip is, just like Scott said, they were both right, but they were both fucking idiots. They were both right, but they were both fucking idiots. They were idiots because they couldn't acknowledge the fact that, man, I know that this is a 6 from my perspective. But maybe if I looked at it from your perspective, maybe I'll see it as a 9. And because only where you're standing makes it look like a 9 to you. So why am I arguing with you? Why don't I just grow the fuck up, come over where you're at, and try to see it from your perspective? Because we get so rigid and dogmatic in our belief system, we don't want to feel challenged. We don't want to feel like, man, we don't want our belief system threatened because we're so freaking fragile emotionally. Because we're so emotionally fragile. And that's what the great reality, that's what most religious people are. Same thing with gun rights and abortion and all these other things. These homophobics and all these other people. What's up with you, Big Sky? Man, we have to grow up. Things aren't always the way we see them. Just because you see it that way doesn't mean that that's how it really is. We have to let go of that illusion of control. Why do we feel like, man, that we gotta be right? And if we're wrong, how come we can't be man enough, woman enough to come back and say, man, you know what? I was wrong. I apologize for that. Now, we'll die over our sword just to prove that this is a 6. We'll die over the sword for being a liberal or being a conservative, being pro-rights or pro-abortion, gun rights and all that. We'll die over this stupid shit. And it's not that important. None of this crap is that important. The trip is, we get so convinced in something and we believe it's real. We believe it's true. And that was me. That was me. I was in school one time and taking some college classes, and I studied the material. I was ready for the class, and man, I was ready for the test. I knew we had this big test coming. I was ready for it. You know what I mean? I did all the work. I did all the studying. I was ready for it. And it was an anatomy class, right? And the test was on all the different bones and muscles in the body. And so, man, I'm sitting there and I'm just doing the test, right? And I'm feeling good about this, you know, because I put the work in. I'd studied the material, studied it. Test came back. I passed, but not like I thought I was. You know what I mean? I didn't pass the way I thought I was going to pass. I felt good about the test. I felt good about the answers that I gave. I knew the information. I thought I knew more than what I knew. I got a lot wrong that I was convinced was right. A lot of the answers that I got wrong, it wasn't that I was guessing. Man, I thought that was the correct answer. I knew that was the answer. And I was dead wrong. But I believed that I knew the answer. I believed with everything in me that this was the correct answer. And God had to show me, look at how many times you made that mistake. Look at how many times on this one test, you thought that you were convinced that this was the answer. You thought with everything within you that you knew this test and that you were going to ace this test. I really thought I was going to ace the test. I was that comfortable because I studied, man, studied. Now I'll never study, you know what I mean? And so, man, Here it is. Man, ride or die. Thank you. I appreciate the donation. And so, man, here it is. I'm looking at my test results. And it's a slap in the face to me. And I learned something very crucial at that moment. Although I was convinced that I had the right answers, although I was convinced that I was cruising through this test, I made a lot of wrong choices. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of the things that I thought I knew, I really didn't know. Truth be told, the great majority of us could say the exact same thing. We jumped in this relationship with this person, man, because we thought that this was the one. We jumped in this relationship with this person, man, because we was going with our emotions and, man, our feelings and, man, the vibes we was getting and the sex was great and all this other crazy stuff. And we just knew that this was the one. We thought that in high school, when you had your first high school crush, or the first time you fell in love, that's the one. That's the one I'm gonna marry. That's the one I'm gonna settle down with. That's the one I wanna have his babies. That's the one I want her to have my babies. And after you spend some time with them, it's like, what the hell was I thinking? This girl is crazy as hell. This dude is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What in the world was I on? How did I miss that? How did I miss that? How? Man, we got all these education, we studied all, man, and we're reading all these contracts and we're reading all this stuff and doing all this other stuff, and then we miss something. We miss something in the small print. And it comes back to bite us in the butt later on. This was a lady years ago that I worked for. And I told her, I said, man, she was asking about whether or not she should refinance her house. And I was telling her, I said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. You know what I mean? You could handle the payments now. Don't do it. You know? And I was telling her the reasons why she shouldn't refinance her house. But all she was thinking about was, man, look at all this money they're gonna give me, and I could pay off this car, and I'm gonna go on a cruise. And she was thinking about the immediate gratification of them just giving her some money. And I'm telling her, it's like, nah, don't do it. And so, man, I hadn't talked to her for a while. And then when I did meet up with her again, it's like, hey, what's up? You know, how you doing? And she's like, man, I'm looking for a place. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, man, I have this big 2-story house, nice house, 3 or 4 bedrooms, you know what I mean? Nice sized backyard. And I'm like, what happened to your house? She's like, man, I refinanced it. And I knew she did something because, man, she was putting pictures up on a cruise and, man, she's doing this and doing that, just doing the most, right? I'm like, oh, she living large. She must got a man. You know, she got a sugar daddy, got a man. You know what I mean? They doing things, right? But I never saw no dude with her. And so she lost her house because it was variable rates. She had a fixed interest rate. Now, it was a variable rate. It means that it fluctuates. It could change. Some of the small prints was that, man, because she was late on her payment, the interest rate skyrocketed. And so now her $1,000 house payment was over $2,500 a month. And she couldn't pay it. And she lost her house. She thought she knew better. She thought she knew that that was the best thing for her. There's a whole lot of people that this happened to in America. A whole lot of Americans lost their homes refinancing it, thinking that, man, I'm gonna get a better rate and whoop-de-doo. But they didn't pay attention to the small print. Something snuck up on them. So many of us got in toxic relationships. And it almost killed us. It almost took us out. So many women did hook up with the wrong guy, and it cost them their life. They thought they knew something. And I've talked about in videos in the past how all these young people, over 800,000 kids in America go missing every year. And it's been that number for years. Over 800,000 people, kids in America, go missing every year. And there's so many of these young kids think, man, I'm running away from home. I'm sick of my family. I'm sick of this, and this guy right here, this girl, because it's not just guys now. There's women out there too, soliciting these young kids. There's women out there trying to traffic these kids. There's a lot of money in it. And so they're gassing up these little kids. They're gassing up these young adults, thinking, man, come over here, we'll take care. Man, you don't want to listen to your parents, you ain't got to listen to them. And these kids are thinking they know what's best for them. These kids are thinking they're going somewhere better. Because they know, they think they're convinced. They think they know what's best for them. And it's cost them their life. Or they're in another country as a sex toy now. Or they're a slave here in America as a sex toy now. But it didn't have to be that way. But because of the choices they made, because they thought they knew what was best. How many people have tried dope for the first time because a friend told them, man, this will help take your pain off your problems. I know you're going through a hard time. Well, man, here, just smoke this. You'll be okay. This one's on me. It ain't even gonna cost you nothing. And then they're a full-blown addict. Everything isn't always the way it appears. We have to be willing to grow up. And when I say grow up, I'm not talking about just emotionally. I'm not talking about just intellectually. We have to grow up spiritually. And you sit back and you look at all the people that stood by and allowed crazy stuff to happen to other people. It's a trip because Queen was telling me the other day about a young lady, but on the trains out here in New York. This guy got on a train and sat next to this young lady and just started grabbing her hair, pulling her hair and just dogging her out. And other people sitting around on the train and not doing nothing about it. I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand that mentality of being an adult and allowing another American, another citizen, and allowing that person to go through hell, and you just sit there, stand there and watch it and not do nothing. I don't understand that concept. I don't understand. That's not my problem. I don't understand. That's not my child. That's somebody's child. God forbid, I'm not with my kids all the time. But God forbid, something happened to one of my daughters. And people standing around just watching and videotaping it, but ain't doing nothing about it. You got dudes just sitting there acting like they ain't paying attention. It's a trip. I don't hear all this noise until I get on these live streams at all. I don't hear these motorcycles, none of this stuff until I get on these live streams. But it is what it is. So, but I don't understand that perspective. And we talk about how evil the world is. And we talk about how evil this person is. Damn, this one person, everybody around them sitting there not doing shit is just as evil to me. I don't give a fuck what their excuse is. How can you sit there and watch somebody go through hell and not try to do anything? Because it's not you. Because you're not the one catching the pain. Because it's not your daughter. Because it's not your granddaughter. That shows you how fucking selfish we've become. That shows you how narrow-minded we've become. But yet when we get in trouble, when it's our kids going missing, when it's our daughter that's been raped in a public place, we want to cry out for help from everybody. We want to know how come nobody did anything. We want to understand how come everybody just stood there and allowed this to happen. How can you call yourself a patriot and allow another person to catch the hell that they're catching? Oh, you're only a patriot when it comes to politics. You're only a patriot when it comes to religion. But when it comes to a young lady getting beat on the street, when it comes to a young lady getting raped, oh, I'm gonna call the cops, but and I don't even wanna call the cops. You call the cops because I'm gonna videotape it. Because we're more concerned with putting it on social media and getting footage of it than we are with trying to stop it. And then we say then we call ourselves a man. And you want to call yourself a woman. And you got kids that age and older. And you're okay with seeing this young woman get beat down and drugged and raped and done the way she's been treated. That's okay to you. Things aren't the way that they appear. We're not as spiritual as we say we are. We're not as woke as we pretend to be. We're not as loving and compassionate as we pretend to be. We're not as patriotic as we pretend to be. We talk all this, I'm pro-love and I want to just push love and we'll do this, but then we'll see people getting hurt and we'll see people catching hell and won't do anything to help out. And then we'll say, man, I've seen a couple posts where a couple of young kids stopped the man from wanting to jump off a bridge. And so these kids went and they pleaded with him and begged him and grabbed hold of him so that he wouldn't jump. And we talk and we hype these kids up. And man, they're heroes and whoop, whoop, whoop. And man, that's great. That's great. But what the fuck does that say about the rest of us? We're a bunch of fucking cowards. I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. We don't really give a damn about humanity the way we say we do. We're not really loving like we really say we are. You can't pick and choose when you're going to be loving. Things aren't the way they always appear. Things aren't the way they always appear. We have to grow up. We have to stop faking the funk. We got to stop hiding behind big words. We got to stop hiding behind crystals. We got to stop hiding behind tarot cards, oracle cards, charms, pendulums, and all these other things. We could talk about the moon and the different times of the seasons. but we ain't trying to do anything to help our neighbor. We can talk all we want to about going into the fifth dimension. We won't even help the old lady walk across the street. We won't even make sure that she get across safely. But then we want to say that we're beacons of love. Then we want to say, man, we're the children of God. We're the chosen one. And we want to hold our head up and our chest out like we're all that. No, you're a fucking computer warrior. That's all you are. All these people get on social media and man, they want to go in, and I'll beat somebody's ass and we do all this shit on the computer. In our house, we're safe. But won't lift a finger to help the little kids down the street or the kids next door that are struggling. We won't even monitor our own communities to make sure that the little girls and the women and the elderly are able to walk up and down the street and get to where they gotta go. But we want to sit here and talk about racism. We want to sit here and talk about socialism. We want to sit here and talk about all this stupid shit. When grandma goes to the bank, grandma ain't worried about the white man. Grandma ain't worried about these other people, these other races doing anything to her. She ain't worried about these other races snatching her purse. Grandma's concerned about the little knucklehead that look just like me. That's gonna grab my back, that's gonna knock me out, that's gonna do me some harm. And we don't even care enough about grandma or the elderly to make sure that they're okay. We got to do better. We have to do better. We get on here and we talk all this stuff about, man, Russia and Ukraine, and look at the hell going on in America. We don't want to do nothing about it. Let's just send them millions and billions of dollars and we can say we're good citizens. Let's just send them all these tanks and all this other stupid shit. And man, we've done our civil duties. We've done what was morally and ethically required of us. All the while, we ain't doing shit to help our own communities. We ain't doing shit to better our own country. We ain't doing shit to talk to the young people in the streets. What's up, Bree? How you doing? Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. We got all these people committing suicide in America. But we so fucking busy. We too busy to talk to each other. We too busy to keep it real with each other. We too busy to be transparent with each other. We too busy to sit there and talk to the young ladies and to the young guys to figure out where they're at emotionally, to understand why they're struggling the way they are. Oh, it ain't my responsibility. That's not my kid. I got my own problems. I got my own issues. How can we be a beacon for the community and not shed light on everybody? We gotta stop the foolishness. Oh, I gotta just look out for people that look like me. No, we gotta look out for everybody. Everybody. I don't get it. I don't get our mentality. I don't get how we could get up on social media and we could love the fact that we got all these people following us and we got all these people listening to us and paying attention to the stuff that we're saying, but we ain't saying shit. We're doing all this, yeah, but it ain't doing nothing. We got all this, yeah, but it ain't positive and constructive stuff. Nothing of substance, nothing of value that's going to help and heal the people. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. I say all the man, we're gonna change the world. How can we change the world if we ain't trying to change our own fucking communities? How can we change the world without even changing our little cities and our little towns and the streets we live on? How can we change it? How can we make society better while ignoring the fact that these kids are getting emotionally abused? While ignoring the fact that these kids are getting bullied? And you got grown folks on social media getting bullied. You got presidents on social media bullying other people because they don't believe and agree with their stupid process or their politics. You got Congress people that's off the fucking chain. How can we change the world if we ain't doing nothing? How can we make this world a more better, more loving place if we're okay with seeing people getting killed? We're okay with seeing people get beat and abused and violated. And all we want to do is sit back and there's 30 dudes on the train, 15 dudes on the train, and one dude's doing this to the woman. But ain't nobody stepping forward, but everybody's got their phone out, videotaping it. Man, this is wrong. Man, you know what? And I'm going to say this, and it is what it is. If that's what you're doing, you're a punk. You're a punk. You ain't no fucking man. Because a real man, he's going to gather up the truth. Man, let's get this dude. Why are we going to sit here and just let this dude attack this woman like this? It's 15 of us. It's 10 of us. It's 5 of us. It's 3 of us. Man, it's 2 of us. Man, if ain't nobody going, man, you get up and do something. See the trick? And we always say, well, these guys got mental health problems and what do? No, motherfuckers ain't that crazy because they know who to attack. I'm going to say it again. We always say, oh, well, they're on mental health. They got mental health issues. And man, they're probably on some dope and what do. Man, they know who to attack and who not to attack. They don't go up to the dudes that look like they bought something and attack them. Why are they always attacking the vulnerable, the weak ones? Why are we always allowing them to attack the elderly women, the elderly dudes? We have to grow up. A while back, man, there's this thing going around in the black communities where these dumb motherfucking knucklehead kids running around this knockout game, knocking old people out, knocking elderly dudes and elderly women out, knocking out girls, females. How the fuck have we fallen so far to where now it's okay for dudes to punch a woman and you sneak punch her? You run her from behind and punch her in her head, and that gives you kudos, that gives you points, and your boys are sitting there videotaping that? How have we fallen so far? That's the thing to do. That was normal. That was okay. We talked about it not being okay, but we didn't lift a fucking finger to make sure that this shit stopped happening. I told my sons, told my nephews, when I first heard about this when I was in California, I said, if I ever find out y'all motherfuckers doing some stupid shit, nah. And they knew better doing some stupid shit like that. I don't play that shit. I have no problem with kicking you in your fucking throat. I have no problem with slapping the dog shit out of you and still loving you. But I'm not gonna allow you to just disrespect other Americans. I'm not gonna allow you to disrespect anybody else. And I just stand there and just watch it happen. And maybe because I grew up in a different time frame, maybe because I grew up and I saw my auntie getting choked by her husband as a little kid, and that messed me up. It's like, oh, hell no, never again. No, no. You call yourself a man. You call yourself a king. You call yourself a leader, an elder in the community. Rise the fuck up. Stop doing all this fucking mouth service and lip service and start getting active, start doing some shit and getting into these young people's heads. What the hell's going on? My sons, man, I'm on one today. I'm on one today. You can tell by my voice, I don't feel good, but man, it is what it is. When this sagging of the pants bullshit came out, and that was my generation that came out with that bullshit. I never accepted that shit. Things aren't always the way they appear. Stay with me. And so when I had sons and I was raising them up, and my oldest son wanted to have his pants sagging a little bit, it's like, what the fuck you doing? Pull your motherfucking pants up. And he's like, oh, Dad, this is just the style. I said, okay, you check this out. Bow! Crushed in his fucking chest. I said, check this out. When I was a kid, we played this game called open chest. If you was walking around and you wasn't protecting yourself, you got your chest crushed in. That taught you to be on alert. That taught you to pay attention to your surroundings. That taught you how to take a punch. I said, so every time I see you with your pants sagging like that, I'm gonna crush your fucking chest in. Because that's not what we do. I don't give a fuck what everybody else is doing. If you, my kids and family, I say I'm gonna talk to these other young people. But I can't make them pull their pants up, but I'm gonna get in their head. But y'all, man, I'm crushing your chest in. Oh, Dad, you just old fashioned. Okay, let me see you sagging. Let me see you walk around showing people your drawers. Nothing manly about that. Nothing manly about that. There's a whole lot of people, woke motherfuckers, walk around with their pants up under their ass with a belt on. We gotta start reclaiming our communities. We gotta start reclaiming these young people. The shit is getting fucked up. It's already fucked up, and that's our fault. You know what I mean? Because we just sat back and just watching stuff happen and not doing anything about it, but sitting there, man, that's not my responsibility. Those aren't my kids. And man, those people ain't raising their kids right. And whoop. When I was a kid, when we did stuff bad as a kid, the whole community, if they saw you, I lived on 1905 Daytona Drive in East San Jose, California. And the whole block, if you did something wrong in the time frame that I came up in, the whole block had permission to beat your ass. And then they took you home and told the people that you lived with why they with you. And then you got another whipping for making the family name look bad, for disrespecting the family name. But nowadays, we terrified of saying something to these young people because they ratchet ass, ghetto ass parents. They ignorant ass parents. Things aren't always the way they appear. But we're so fucking holy. We're so fucking anointed. We're so damn woke. We're so intelligent. We're so spiritual. And we've never been further from the truth. More people have a college degree now, and yet the masses are freaking dumber than ever. The masses are more ignorant than ever. All these damn degrees, and nobody know who the hell they are. Everybody graduating college, ain't nobody learned who the hell they are. Ain't nobody learned about their issues. Young girls could get up, they can't say they ABCs for nothing, but they could get up and twerk. These little kids can't say they alphabets, they can't say shit, but they could get up and sing these ratchet ass trampy songs and dance like freaking hoes. And we think that's so cute, that's so funny, that's so nice. We videotaping it and putting it all over social media. And we so proud of them. Man, I'm old school. I'm old school. I remember my son and daughter, I got 7 kids, but at the time I was a single parent. And my oldest was like, this was 96, so she was maybe 6 years old at the time. My son was 4. This young lady I started dating, she was kind of fast, you know what I mean, just out there. But I didn't want to be alone, you know what I mean? And so I allowed that around my kids, my issue, you know what I mean? And so this young lady wanted to take my daughter and got her a swimsuit. And it was a 2-piece. I'm old school. Oh, hell no, my daughter ain't wearing no damn 2-piece. You know what I mean? My daughter ain't wearing no 2-piece. You know what I mean? And my son, before I even saw the swimsuit, he got mad at her, at his sister, for putting this swimsuit on. My 4-year-old son, he already knew. And so he was like, she's like, why are you mad? He's like, you know dad's gonna get mad at you for having that swimsuit on. You know you can't be wearing that. And what he just going in on it, right? And that's what caught my attention. I'm hearing them two arguing. And I'm hearing him yelling at her about what she got on. And so I'm like, oh snap, what's going on? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, what's going on, man? And he said, Dad, a fool, she got on this swimsuit and it's like a bikini swimsuit and it's like a 2-piece swimsuit. And he's trying to, as a 4-year-old, he's trying to describe her 2-piece bathing suit. And I'm like, bring it here, let me see it. And she bring it here, it's like, where'd you get this from? And she tells me, I'm like, oh no, you can't have this. But Dad, nothing. You can't have this. This ain't no debate. This ain't no fucking democracy. And so she was hurt and she put her head down. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you already know how I am. Everybody out there ain't got your best interest at heart. Everybody out there ain't wrapped the way that I'm wrapped. Stay with me. Everybody out there don't just look at you and see you as a little kid. You 6 years old. You got guys out there that's looking at you and they got some crazy thoughts. Regardless of what you put on. But you're not gonna feed into that sickness. You're not gonna feed into that illness. I'm not gonna let you dress this way. You can do what the hell you wanna do when you get grown. You can wear what the hell you wanna wear when you get grown. But as a 6-year-old kid, you're not wearing this. It's not appropriate. And I'll talk to Dee about this when she get in. And I hear my son, see, I told you Dad was gonna get mad. I don't know why you didn't listen to me. He's just going in on it. Shut up. You're the reason why I got in trouble. And they just going back and forth. It's like, no, you already know how I am. You're older than him. You've been with me 2 years longer. You know how I am. And I had to check myself. This wouldn't have been an issue if you had chose a better person to be in their life. This wouldn't have been an issue if you had done your job better in regards to the women or the woman you were allowing to come around her. And so I had to check myself on that. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. Where the hell my daughter getting this from? Duh. Look who you dating. Look how she dressed. Obviously, your daughter's going to want to dress like that. That's what she's role modeling. Or that's what this young lady's role modeling to your daughter. And I'm sharing this, family, because we got to start accepting responsibility for some of the stuff that's gone on in our household. As grandparents, great grandparents, man, we shouldn't be allowing our little grandkids and our great grandkids be walking around with all made up with lipstick on, bright red lipstick on, eyeliner, and all this other crap. No. No. Everything isn't the way it appears. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. And to each their own. I'm not in any way, shape, or form blaming women for the way they dress as to why they get raped. I'm not saying that at all. At all. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. I am suggesting that maybe we shouldn't add to it. We know that there's sicknesses out there. We know that people ain't right. So why put ourselves in a position for something to happen like that because of the way we dress? When I was growing up, they said birds of a feather flock together. What am I saying? If the women back in my time frame, if they saw you dressed like a hoe and all you hung out with was hoes, whether you was a hoe or not, all the elderly women called you a hoe because you was dressed like a hoe and you hung out with hoes. If they saw you wearing some trampy stuff, look at this tramp. It wasn't guys, that was women saying that about other women. Family, we have to grow up. And part of the reason why I hated the hip hop, I stopped listening to hip hop. Because in the hip hop movement, man, they had this thing where all the women were sexualized. All the women in the videos were sexualized. They were all dancing provocative. They were all halfway naked. And I don't condone that. I don't support that. So I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to allow my kids to watch that crap, to listen to that crap. Why? And it's like I had to sit down and talk to my kids about this. And I had to tell my daughters, like, look, if all you see is Belle Biv DeVoe talking about poison, and you got all these women up here looking like you, and they dancing the way they dancing, and they doing all this crazy shit, and all these other videos, all you see these women doing is walking around halfway naked, cleavage all out, all their body parts showing damn near naked. In a young woman's mind, that shows her, man, in order for me to get attention, in order for me to be attractive, this is what I have to do. In order for guys to pay attention to me, man, I gotta dress like this. In order for guys to see me and to want me, I gotta be like this. That's not the message I think we should be trying to send to our young women. That's not the message I think we need to be sending to these young men. That women, man, they're just sex objects. That's all they are, just sex objects. Just for you to lust after, just for you to want. That's all women are good for. And then when these guys grow up and they treat these young women as sex objects. Then we want to get mad at the guys for disrespecting the women and treating them like sexual objects. When that's all they've been taught. When that's what they've been taught. And so now you look at all these young girls in junior high school dressing like they 19 and 20 years old. We got to do better. We have to do better. Every one of us have to step back and say, man, okay, you know what? This opinion, this belief system, it's not going to make me popular. It's not going to make me liked by my kids or by my grandkids or my great-grandkids. But I didn't come here to be fucking liked by my kids or my grandkids. I don't give a fuck whether they like me. My job is to educate you and lace you up to where you can do something positive and constructive with your life to reach your full potential. I don't give a fuck whether you like me. I don't even give a damn whether you respect me. And see, we got this twisted concept. Well, I'm gonna make them respect me and blah, blah. You can't make somebody respect you. There's a difference in allowing them to disrespect you. I'm not allowing anybody to disrespect me. But it doesn't mean that you have to respect me. I don't give a damn whether you respect me or not. I'm securing myself. You should be securing yourself to whether they like you or whether they quote unquote respect you or not. Man, it don't matter. Your job is to teach them the way that they should be going. If you see them dressed like a freaking hoe in a trap and they only in junior high school, man, we got a problem. When I was a kid coming up, man, we had to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You got these little motherfuckers talking about what? Yeah, why you bother me? Leave me the fuck alone. I wish the fuck we would have. But the problem happened because our generation, we was tired of having to talk like that. And we didn't want to do that with our kids because we wanted to be liked. We wanted our kids to like us. We wanted our kids to see us as friends. We wanted our kids to see that we was cool and we weren't mean like those other people. We weren't old-fashioned like those other people. And so we ain't teaching nobody any values. What's up, Wahid? We ain't teaching anybody any morals. I don't know when it stopped being a manly thing to protect a woman being hurt. I don't know when it ever changed in society for guys to stop being men and coming to a woman's defense or to an elderly person's defense or to anybody's defense in need. When did that become the norm? When did that become socially acceptable? We have to get it together. We have to get it together. We're so busy being negative and toxic and talking about how these people ain't crap and this generation is sucks and this generation woo-doo, but we don't want to accept responsibility for our role in it. We don't want to accept the responsibility that we ain't doing shit about it. We don't want to have these conversations because, man, these people are going to unfriend me and they're going to block me and they don't want to hear what I have to say and and you're more concerned with being valued or being liked by these motherfuckers that ain't trying to do shit than you are with trying to be a beacon of hope, a beacon of light in a dark world. How can you be a beacon of light and a beacon of love and you're the same as everybody else? I'm going to say it again. If you're just like everybody in this dark world, what is it about you that stands out? If you're just like everybody else in this toxic ass world, how are you going to inspire? How are you going to empower? How are you going to help others reach their full potential? How are you going to help others heal? You can't be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, looking and acting and talking like everybody else. There has to be something different about you. What's different about you than everybody else? See, the problem, we want to fit in. We want to be like everybody else. And then say that I'm a beacon of light. I'm a radiant beacon of love and compassion. You can't be all that and fitting in with everybody else. You can't be all that and being just like everybody else. There has to be a standard bearer. There has to be somebody to rock the boat. There has to be somebody say, oh, hell no. Y'all got this fucked up. Y'all missing it on this one. Where are those warriors at? Where are those kings and queens at? Where are those bosses at? See, y'all trying to be bosses and get $1,500 bags and all this other stuff like everybody else. You trying to walk around looking like everybody else. You trying to sound like everybody else. Queen asked me about this young lady, this singer, and I can't even remember the young woman's name. And I told her, I said, I don't even know who that is. And she said, and she's just tell me different songs that she said, I don't know. And she's like, well, she looked like that, and she's doing all this other stuff, right? And it's like, that's still not telling me anything. I don't know who this person is. You could put this person in a group of 3 people, and I would get it wrong. You know what I mean? Because I don't know this person. I don't know these people. Family, we have to grow up. Where are we putting our time at? Where are we putting our energy at? Have we given up on humanity? Have we given up on this generation to where now all we want to do is chase the bag? All we got time to do is go to work, come home, and go to sleep and get on social media, see what everybody else is doing. Is all we good for now? Is to post stuff on social media? But we ain't doing anything? We ain't really trying to help nobody? We ain't really trying to understand anybody? We ain't really trying to help people work through their issues? Man. It's not the country that I grew up in. I understand that times change. Just because the times change, don't mean that you have to change and become negative and toxic. There's a lot of stuff about my generation and the generation prior to me that was toxic and negative as hell. But you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You throw out the negative and toxic shit. And you keep the good stuff. It seems as though we just thrown everything out. These kids, they don't know what the hell they are. They don't know, they have no idea of who the hell they are. They have no idea of the different genders that they are. They have no idea of what they're going to do. They have no idea of what real love is. They have no idea of what a real man is. They have no idea of what a real queen or a real king is. They think because you got a nice ride and you can able to lean back, that makes you a king. They think because you got money in your pocket, that makes you a boss. They have no idea. And they have no idea because we haven't showed them. They have no idea about true spirituality because we haven't shown them. And the great majority of us haven't shown them because we ourselves don't know. So how can you teach this generation of how to be what they came here to be, all the while you're refusing to get to know you? You're refusing to tap into the power within you. You got to do the work first. How can you lead by example if you haven't already done the work? How can you show others how to navigate through the jungle of the darkness if you refuse to do that? Man, if we don't get it together, if not us, then who? We're supposed to be in the know. We're supposed to be in the know. If we don't do it, then who the hell is going to do it? If we don't stand up for righteousness, then who the hell is going to stand up for righteousness? And I'm not talking about righteousness. I'm not talking about freaking religion at all. We've had enough of that toxic ass bullshit. Religion hasn't helped us at all. When I'm talking about righteousness, you got to know you. You got to be connected to God within you. You got to have a personal relationship with the greater version of yourself. The righteousness. You seeing something wrong, now they tell you to call somebody. You seeing something wrong, they tell you to say something, see something, say something. No, motherfucker, I grew up in a time frame, you see something, get your ass up and do something. You motherfuckers want to get on the phone and start snitching. Okay, tell, but get your ass up and do something. You don't just let this elderly lady get beat down and robbed, and all you're gonna do, oh yeah, officer, I saw him. He was two young black guys. They look like they're 12 and 13 years old, and they were like maybe 5'4" and 5'3", and you're telling the clothes they got on, all this other shit. No, and you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing other than told. That's somebody's mama. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's baby. Maybe if we stop looking at everybody else as other people, or that's not my family. Maybe if we start looking at these people as like, man, if this was my daughter, if that was my son, and there were a whole bunch of people standing around, wouldn't I want somebody to intervene to protect my baby boy? If that was my baby girl, wouldn't I want somebody to step up to, man, to come to her defense? That's somebody's baby boy. That's somebody's baby girl. I don't give a damn how old they are. Man, I love you guys. Man, I love you guys. We have to do better. We have to do better. And it starts with us holding ourselves accountable. Making sure that we're putting in the work to reach our full potential, to be the best version of ourselves. We got to hold ourselves accountable. What are we doing actively to make the world a more loving and a safer place? What are we doing to show these young people that they don't have to commit suicide in the 5th and 6th grade? How are we spending time getting to know them, letting them know that it's okay? They have a safe place. They could come talk to you without being judged. We got to do better. We have to do better. I love you guys. I thank you guys for being here on this live chat. Man, I've gone on for a while. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for just riding with me. Thank you for all your support. Man, thank you for your thoughts and your prayers. Man, I'm challenging every one of us. Every one of us. Man, we have to do something. We got to just stop talking about love. We got to just stop talking about, man, us going into the 5th dimension, us going to heaven, and all this other foolishness. We have to start trying to make heaven here, this earth. You know what I mean? We have to start making this world a more loving, a more patient, a more tolerant, a more compassionate, and a safer place, where we can share with each other our fears without the fear of being belittled, without the fear of being bullied or attacked. And we do that by leading by example. By leading by example. The more we do it, we empower others. We show them that, man, this can be done. I love you. We love you. Happy healing. Peace.